Hi everybody, my name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto. Most days under 20, but I'm on maintenance, so some days I can reach as high as 25. But it's used up with healthy things like avocado and great veggies. I don't have any keto-fied items, and I like it like that. So it's been an interesting few days. I've gotten a lot of great comments back. And as you know, I'm no BS and no gimmicks. So if you're new to keto, just know that I am a stay the course. What you hear from me today is what you're going to hear from me 3 days from now, which is what you'll hear from me 2 months ago. I have over 900 podcasts from my Weight Watcher days. And those grocery hauls are something, oh my, to today. And so every day I just do a little bit better, try a little bit harder. I have a chronometer that I track my foods. It is free. Let me see if I can get it. It is free on Amazon and not Amazon. It is a free app, chronometer, and you can upgrade like I have to the $35.99 version. And it really, that's what it looks like. And once if you do the upgrade, the apple turns gold. So I love that, and it teaches me so much because I'm always aspiring to get enough electrolytes, and especially that persnickety potassium that we're supposed to have 4,700 grams of per day. And so, yes, I take some supplements, and then I eat leafy greens, and it shows up in other places like meat, which the chronometer will show me. So I listen to quite a few different podcasts, and I've got my YouTube pulled up here with some of my favorite feeds, so I can tell you who I watch. And one of them is High Intensity Health, and he's a very interesting man. He has... and his lady, they're very, very interesting. And he's keto, and he just has a very relaxed way of doing it. I don't know how many grams of carbs he has daily, but they are a believer in dairy and getting enough veggies in. And so they had I watched it yesterday on YouTube, you know, are veggies okay on a keto diet? And indeed, they are with them, and it was a live podcast, and I had a lot of interference with the little round and round and round you go on my TV YouTube. And so although it was interesting, I would have liked a lot more about, well, what is it that you have every day? And I never quite got to that. I still probably have 20 minutes left of it, but I will catch up with that. But so anyway, they're young. He's 35 and she's either 35 or younger. And he said, so what if you don't have veggies and you're doing keto? And he said, that's fine if you want to live to only 45 or you only have 6 months to live or something like that. It was just kind of funny. So as some of you know already, and if not, I'm disclosing here that some days I have a few more veggies in my food day. And so sometimes that brings my carbs up to 25. I do total carbs, and of course I can subtract the net carbs in my head because it shows the fiber and the net carbs. And so it ends up, 15 or so carbs if I'm having 25 total carbs. But for all intents and purposes, the total carbs show up, and that's what I'm having. A lot of women here do have more carbs than the under 20, so they can have their veggies as well. And it seems to suit them fine. And they are ladies past a certain age. So I would recommend the strictness at least the first 6 months into your keto food plan, whether or not you reach your goal with your weight, but just adapting to the fat-adapted diet and not relying on other things. And you don't want to be having sugars and grains and fruits to get you there. Still no fruits. I might have, 6 or fewer raspberries when our raspberry bush has given us some. And yes, they're weighed and measured and tracked, and sometimes they weigh 0.4 ounces. And that's my treat, and it's seasonal. So if I was a hunter-gatherer, I would be doing exactly what they were 2,000 years ago. I'm having the berries right off the bush. And how can I resist? That is truly a gift to have. So with my favorite podcasts, I listen to different people for different reasons, and it all just filters in. It's like going to one of my 12-step meetings and hearing different speakers do their sobriety/recovery in different ways and how it works for them. And that's when I take, they say, take what you need and leave the rest. And so I listen to some of these people, one, because it makes me feel validated in what I'm doing. In other words, they have something similar to my keto food plan. And for other people, it's because they struggle, and but they're honest about it, and they have great integrity. And I like to support them through their struggles and through their journey, because we all just don't do it perfect out of the gate. But perfection is sometimes misidentified, I think. Sometimes the goal becomes only weight. And so, like other diets that we might have done to get here, we start doing trendy, dangerous things instead of just having your 1 or 2 meals a day, aiming for a nice intermittent fasting, listening to people that have the same belief as you do. I'm a big fan of Dr. Berg, who is a big fan of having enough veggies. And that being said, that's why I do that. So he definitely is my go-to. And he has like 4 and 5 minute type of podcasts about single topic things. He also has a lot of before and after success stories, which are always fun to watch as well. And then the high intensity health is another one. I totally enjoy them. Then there's the Ultimate Health Show, and it is a Marnie and Jesse, and they're out of, I think, Ontario. And they just have great interviews. They break into their podcasts with lots of interruptions for their products and the products' discounts. But yeah, it's still worthy of a listen to, because they have the people that I listen to. So I'm just going to go down this. I don't know what's going to show up. I haven't edited this for purposes of looking all bright and shiny. So you might see some that have, like, is that really keto? How does that affect me doing keto? You will see that it's just part of what I do. So, who I listen to. So, are you ready? Here we go. All right, so that's the Ultimate Health with Marnie and Jesse out of Ontario, and they do great interviews, so I always recommend them. Then comes Dr. Berg, who is a great keto advocate, a great veggie advocate, the knee bone's connected to the hip bone, which is why you have this physical thing that happens and how to get rid of it, and also lots of different remedies and supplements to take to feel better. He's a big proponent of electrolytes, which we all can't get enough of. Keto Mad is Mike and Marnia, and Marnia was doing low carb, high fat for a while, and then she switched off to keto along with her husband Mike, and they do great recipes and they have great podcasts. And Mike thinks a lot like me, and so I always enjoy his comments on mine, and I always like to watch his. And he's got the Mama Don't Let Your Baby Grow Up to Be Keto, the Willie Nelson song. And then he does a real cute thing in the beginning where he's got on like 4 different pairs of pants to show you how much weight he's lost. And it's just clever. He's very clever. And Marnia is just a great woman who tells it like it is and has a great way of looking at life. She's one of those kind of women that I like to listen to. Finding Elizabeth had the vertical sleeve put in, VSG vertical sleeve gas, I don't know. But she had that put in, and she's lost and maintained a 200-pound weight loss since then. And she does it while eating the keto diet. And she's raw and unvarnished and quite spunky. And I do like that. So as you can see, she comes out with a lot of podcasts too. So I enjoy listening to her. Dr. Mercola is the one where I got the idea for the chronometer. He takes healthy eating 5 steps out with different things like electromagnetic things, kind of seems out of space sort of things that are affecting our food, our bodies, and things like that. And I appreciate that because sometimes I like the way, way further out kind of take on what's going on and the food industry and such. Michelle Rock is a great keto person, and she does the best how-to videos. I am currently working on 2 different experiments with how to make coconut milk yogurt. She had it in a recent podcast, and I absolutely loved it. And so I've got 2 in my unheated oven with towels on them to see which one works better. And the thing about coconut milk yogurt is that you gotta wanna have it 2 days from now. So it's not quick. There's tons and tons of podcasts out there along with hers about it. And it's going to be a nice addition in my routine, usually for lunch. Carol Freeman does lots of great interviews as well, usually about keto things. She interviewed Dr. Nally, Muscles Nally, I think. And he does Doc Nally. He does lots of podcasts with Jimmy Moore on keto.com or ketotalk.com. And that's how I found him. So I sometimes go to him as well as Carol to see who she's interviewing. It's always a good interview. David Jockers is keto as well as healthy eating. And he has a clinical practice, I think Virginia, Maryland. And I always respect those that have clinical practices because the guinea pigs are right there in front of him and you can see the results instead of in some lofty scientific lab, although those people have their purpose too. But he's in front of us type people every day. Diane Parham is a very interesting woman, and she does intermittent fasting for the aging woman. And she does almost nightly a live podcast that goes on YouTube as well as Facebook, and she has boot camps every single month or half month, and she has quite a tidy little business going. She's very good. The first part is a topic of her podcast, and the second part is she's acknowledging everybody, former clients, future clients, and people that, have things to tell her that are going on in their lives in just a quick blurb on the comments. And so I like her when walking because the first 20 minutes is always an education as well. And she just has a slowdown. This is how we do it. Always with the intermittent fasting, which I believe is like 50% of my 100% keto/intermittent fasting as far as healing my body and keeping my body in a healing mode with carbs under 25 or 20 on a daily basis. And I'm almost 67. It's happening, I think, next week or the week after. And so I am definitely in that category of aging woman. Sandy Chapman is a keto person. I really like her podcast. She's honest and a slow motion kind of person with what she does, what she says, what she feels. And I really appreciate her journey. She's a good soul. And if you tap into her, you might like to support her, and she might support you back. Bulletproof, what can I say? That's Dave Asprey. He does great interviews too, and he does have other ideas like Dr. Mercola that get you thinking past, what's in your tracker and what's in your mouth. I can't even remember what this is, but they must have quirky interviews beyond MTHFR. Haven't watched them in a while, so I can't really remember. Well.org kind of speaks for itself. They have all kinds of podcasts, and every now and then something that is keto. Peace, Love, Power is kind of an earthy, crunchy thing. I went there because I use diatomaceous earth, and so they had a 30-minute podcast on the benefits and how to take it and what it does for you and how to begin and where it comes from and things like that. So it's a good site. It's a good site, not necessarily keto, but just for more of, you know, the emotional and the spiritual part of any journey that you might be on. Two keto dudes, what can I say? They're great. They are engineers, and they lost a lot of weight and got out of their diabetic positions with the keto diet. They have interviewed people like Dr. Fung, but they do just fine just by themselves. They usually have a recipe of the day. They're just excellent. They had their first Keto Fest down in New London, Connecticut in July of 2017, and I'm sure that there's a lot of podcasts that relate to it. So they're great. Usually their podcasts are about 50 minutes, and they always have some sort of topic. They're just two keto dudes, and I really like their delivery. Abel James is a sweetheart. He's had that television show, My Diet's Better Than Yours. One of his best interviews recently was Jay Cardielli, who was also on that My Diet is Better Than Yours, who has a different take on how to lose weight and how to do things. And if you do nothing else, listen to Abel James' interview with him. He is definitely in touch with the spiritual part of the journey, the powerful how to be a leader in your own journey. Just a great interview. Holista is keto, and she does lots of wonderful things with her food plan, always willing to try things and share them with us. I love her take. She did a cabinet, freezer, grocery haul, which was also great. Also supplement haul. She is slow going and does a wonderful job of her explanations. She's been on keto for about 6 months and has lost weight, and definitely worth being in your feed. Go Keto with Casey. She is keto under 20. Give her a watch. She does things different than I do and believes in things different than I do, but she still has a lot of great podcasts and philosophies about this food plan. And she gets to go on a lot of these, retreats that are 3-4 days with the best of the best, and she learns a lot that she passes on to us, as well as having a monthly meeting with Dr. Westman that is one of those live where people are there, and it's held in like a hotel room, and a lot of good information. No Excuse Girl is Esther, and she lives in Hawaii, and she also has great podcasts and has done a lot with her keto journey. She's done ketones and blood work, and she does a lot of exercise podcasts, a lot of grocery hauls, not to mention her 30-day ketogenic cleanse with Dr. Maria Emmerich, where she actually followed that and lost, I think, 8 to 10 pounds. And she just has a great version of how she does her keto. Next is Autumn Lynn's Life. She does keto, and so I watch her What I Eat in a Day, and she's one of us on the bus. Keto Meets Menopause is Alma married to David, and she does tons and tons of recipe ones, as well as some hauls where she's going spiritually, and she has a great podcast. She's one of us, and I enjoy her. Primal Edge is this take no prisoners dude down in some warm climate place, but he's from America, from the United States, so he must have moved down there, and he does great podcasts. He takes no prisoners. I really like that. He's just common sense, logical, no BS, so you might enjoy him. Ms. Brooklyn has hundreds of thousands of followers, I think. And so every now and then I'll see what the title of her podcast is and catch her. I also watch Paulette, Going to Do It, and she is sometimes keto, sometimes low carb, sometimes counting calories. So she just has different installments of her journey, and she is always honest, and I enjoy her, and I like to support her. Cameron English, can't remember. She must have had something that I liked, and so I subscribed. Be Amazed is one of those out there type of sites where I found them because of the crazy stuff that goes on in the food service delivery world. And it definitely is a corrupt mafia type deal where, yeah. So I like them. I assume they're not from the United States because they have more truth than people in the United States who are funded by people in the United States are apt to be. Justin Health speaks for itself. Keto Fabulous, haven't seen anything for her for a couple of months. It was definitely an interesting take. How you can have keto in your name and never do anything keto is very interesting. High Intensity Health was the first one that I mentioned before I came over here to my feed, where he was talking about veggies. But he just does, he just is a cool dude that does keto, does health, does taking care of yourself, and I like that. Katie and the Bo Peeps has been MIA for a while, but when she's on it, she is on it. And who doesn't love Katie and miss her? Keto Strong with Harriet. Hi, Harriet. She's another one of us on the bus, and she just does it. She's adorable, and she works her program, and she likes her exercise. She's just a good soul to watch. I like to support her. William Davis is the Wheat Belly Man, the Undoctored Man, and so I always like what he has. And not unlike Dr. Berg, he has a lot of 4 and 5 minute podcasts where it is a single topic and can help a lot. Ben Greenfield is fitness, but he has a lot of keto sort of interviews that I really enjoy. And yeah, he's just kind of a cool guy. Low Carb Down Under is one of those keto retreat things that I was just talking about, where they have the best of the best come. And so I always tune in there. I never mind watching something again and again and again. Experiencing Nirvana. Sometimes she's keto and sometimes she isn't. She also had weight loss surgery, and so she's just a fun woman to watch, and who doesn't like seeing what her nails look like each day. Health for Pursuit is Leanne Vogel, who is a registered nutritionist out of Canada, has a book out, is on a book tour, and usually is doing keto and has tons and tons and tons of podcasts about keto. So she's a great find as well. Ancestry Foundation does a lot of the keto back then and when, along with the paleo and just eating healthy and what would the caveman do sort of things. They are just a wealth of information. Everybody has tons of initials after their name, and I love their work. Keeping It Keto. This is Felicia Ann. She's a nurse, and she's one of us. She's the one, if you're thinking of an egg fast, find her podcast on it, because she does it for about 5 days and gets sicker and sicker as she does it. So if that doesn't talk you out of it, nothing will. I like her. And Keto Christina, she's from Ireland, but I think she's moving to Paris or France. And I like her too. She is a no-nonsense kind of gal and always has a good message. The Wellness Hour, clearly something that I have listened to. They must have had something keto or a good interview. Haven't watched that for a while, but it's there. Dr. Nally is the one that I met on an interview with Dr. Freeman, does the ketotalk.com talks with Jimmy Moore, and I love his no-nonsense. He's out of Colorado, and he's a keto follower. 180 Nutrition is also a great thing. I think they are not from the United States, so they have a wonderful take on it, and just it's a good place to turn into 180 Nutrition. Gravity Training is fat loss experts. So that's another good place where they have a lot of information as well as fitness. So I enjoy that. I can't even see it with my eyes. IMC, I can't even see it. Sorry. IHMC is another good wellness site to visit. Jason Whitrock, he had a live one the other night, so I probably will go back and watch it non-live. And he has a great message. Eats lots of veggies, so I always like following that. Aisha Abdul, I think, is keto. I think it's under 20. Haven't watched her in a while, but I did like it. Highfalutin low carb is interesting. It's mostly recipes, and a lot of them are ketofied recipes. So I think I watched it once, but I haven't been back. Ashley Manning used to do keto, and now I believe that she is doing something else, but she has just a soft, gentle way of presenting things, and I always enjoy her take. And her older podcasts on keto are great, and her more recent ones where she's added more carbs can be a little bit triggering, but she's just so sweet and thoughtful. I like watching her. And here comes Doc Vong, and he does the VSG surgery, but he has a great spiritual message, a great motivational speaker. I love that he shares his stuff with us. He uses very salty language. He's very down to earth, and he's the one that talks about the big A salad. I just like him, and I tune into him when I want something uplifting and no BS. Physicians for Ancestral Health. I guess that says it all, so it's probably great interviews. Smash the Fat was this great guy from London. Obviously, his YouTube channel is still up there, but he signed off a couple of years ago. But his interviews are timeless, so I strongly suggest him. Catherine Michelle is another adorable keto person. She's a young college girl, and she has her own style, and she's very up and sweet and adorable. And I just love it when she does it outside, and you've got the cats and the dogs and the chickens. She's just fun, and she's keto. So give her a look. Wendy Myers. It must have been something to do with an interview with keto. Haven't been there for a while. Thomas DeLauer, I actually listened to him this morning, where he did the keto versus paleo, which is better, more whatever. And, it's a grab. They're close. He gives the differences. And I enjoy his podcast. He's a lot like the Abel James, like the Jason Whitrock, fitness buff / food person. Cindy O'Meara is another great person that you don't see a lot, but she does great interviews or is great as the person being interviewed. Too Fit, don't know, haven't been there forever. Yummy Inspirations is a keto gal like us, so I get her regular feed. David Perlmutter is the brain doctor, but the second brain is the gut, and he does a lot of work with that too. PhD Natural Me is another keto woman, and she has regular podcasts as well, so give her some support. Always on a Journey is probably another person that does the keto. Goody Beats is sometimes keto, sometimes not. He's out of Austin, Texas. He's fun. His podcasts are always interesting. I love to see what he eats. And good soul. And that's him. His name is Logan. Renee McLaughlin, don't even remember. Fat Girl Fed Up, don't even remember. Farmer Meemaw is keto. She's fun as well. I like to listen to her podcasts every now and then. The Heavy Truth, not quite sure what they're about, if they're keto, but they're there. Keto Connect are a couple that do tons and tons of keto-fied recipes. So if you're looking for that sort of lifestyle, that is definitely the place to tune in. They're young, they're spunky, and they have an interesting take. Stephanie Keto Person, she is the woman who is defying her age. She's 50 looking 20, and she's very strict and disciplined too. So don't tune into her for something that's not strict. And then there's the Stephen Gundry right there. He's the one with the new book out and talks about lectins. Tom Brady and Giselle no longer do lectins. I don't know if they're under his care. Dr. Peter Osborne is definitely a keto. Rich Roll is a very interesting, he's a recovering addict, and he is a vegetarian. So when I say I listen to other people for their take, that's one of them. And there you go with my Who is Sarah Watching tour. And I have reached a half hour, and I need to sign off. So this has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with my library of podcasts. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye for now.